Let's do it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Coach Mike Husson. We are here today with the brand new Winners News Network. Yes, that's right. The 15-minute huddle reinvented. We're going to be sharing ideas with you that are relevant, inspirational, educational, motivational ideas, frankly, to maximize your potential and create wealth for you and your family. You know, over the last couple of years, I've had a podcast at realprofitbuilders.com. Hey, it's still there. Some great ideas and great content. And I took a hiatus for a bit of time just to share some thoughts and get to recollect some of the things that I put together over the years in what I've been doing, primarily because of this most recent outbreak that we've had around the country over the last couple of months. Now, what was my mission here and what was my goal in wanting to delay and decide where am I going to pivot at? You know, oftentimes as a creator, as a mentor, as a coach, as a trainer, as a speaker, you know, where there's a plethora of ideas and concepts out there that are available to you. It's available to me as these creators. And what we want to consider here is the fact that I wanted to bring this around to a place where you can get the most relevant information as it relates to you, your life, your business, etc. You know, there's a lot of information out there. There's a ton of things out there that is available to all of us, you know, whether it's audio or video or books. I got a whole case of books behind me. I got a case of books in front of me. I've got files of information. And part of it is because, well, that's my business and this is what I do for a living. And I'm in constant search for the very best ideas to help not only myself, but my clients truly to get the very best and most relevant information possible so they can use it, implement it, get their results, and take their businesses and their careers and their lives to the next level. And I want to make sure that I do that. And I know oftentimes, and I get this because it happens to me, that there is an overwhelm of information. We're inundated by this opportunity that sits in front of us of everybody and their cousin who's got something to record, some ideas to share. And, you know, listen, guys, it's pretty darn good. There's nothing wrong with it. What I want to make sure that I express to you in this reinvention, if you will, of the Husson huddles, if you will, I like to call it the 15-minute huddle, is, and you know, I created this Winners News Network because right now there's a couple of things. One is the overwhelm, and two is the amount of negative news that's going on around the world. You know, everybody's got their opinions. Everybody's got their ideas. You know, listen, I get it. I'm not going to put my head under a rock and say this doesn't mean anything. It means a lot because you're in for your response to what's going on in your world and how you react to it is important. I think the most important thing is how we respond to what's going on. That makes a huge difference. It could be personal to you. It could be life-threatening to you. It could be opportunistic for you. It could be detrimental to you. And you have a right and you have an opinion and you can share your feedback, your thoughts about these certain things. So I'm in the choice personally of sharing news that is good news, you know, good information that can help you. And I might throw in an opinion every now and again and give you some feedback on what's going on in the world today, whether economically or politically, but it's not intended for you to sway you in any way, shape, or form. It's important to give you this information, in my opinion, so you can make the best decision for yourself. It may make sense to you and you go with it. It may not make sense to you and you say, screw it, I'm not interested. I'm going to move on with my life, right? So with this newfound opportunity that's in front of us at a higher level than ever before in the history of content creation, from YouTube to social media markets like Facebook and LinkedIn and even TikTok, all of these platforms out there, there is a tremendous amount of growth of ideas and inspiration out there for everybody to grab onto, most especially because of this situation going on with this pandemic that we're all dealing with. And more people are at home. There's less people at work, at not 100%, but there's fewer people at work. And as a result, we are more connected to the world. So what I want to share with you in this thought here is this, because you're getting all of this information doesn't necessarily mean you need to opt out of it. Now, I'm not saying that for me personally, although it would be great if you never opted out of my stuff. But at the end of the day, if you so choose to, that is totally up to you. The world is fantastically large, and I'm not overly concerned if I lose a subscriber or two or even 10. To me, it's their loss, in my opinion, and that's the bottom line there. But here's the bottom line here with my thought around this, and that is, when you get information such as this, and I'm going to keep this buttoned around this here, and then you'll see other recordings and other content that I'm going to be delivering. But when you get this information, my goal here at the Winners News Network, as I said, is to provide to you relevant information. Now, what does that mean? It means that when you see something, whether it's in a subject line on an email or an ad that you might see on social media and Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever the case might be, ask yourself, is this important for me to learn, to try to grab onto? Now, how important is this for me? Now, it may be important for you, and what I recommend you do is you listen to it or watch it, whatever you're doing at that time. If it's something that's going to help you feel, based on the headline, based on the way it's designed, the messaging, if it's relevant to you, then you should take advantage of that and listen to it, because here's the deal there. You might grab on one idea, an aha, something that could shift the way you do business. And our goal here, as far as I am concerned with training and coaching and mentoring and so on, is to tighten the gap from where you are to where you want to be. As an example, if you're at a 7 on a particular skill or a mindset, or whatever the case is, and you want to be at a 10, well, we've got a difference here of 3. And what does that mean? That means we have to fill the gap. What is that gap here? So if there's something that I can share with you, or frankly, anybody, that could help you tighten that gap up, that's what you want to take advantage of. Now, you might get information, you might be perusing your media. Don't ignore it if it means something to you, and ignore it if it has nothing to do with you, at least in that moment. And as I've always said to my clients, and I'll say it in some of my recordings, that when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. When we have experiences in life, good, bad, or ugly, and oftentimes we might be in search of something, right? In search of something. And a gentleman by the name of Tom Peters wrote a great book years ago, in the 80s, I believe it was, called In Search of Excellence. And today, I believe it is an important book, even though it's an older book, and it doesn't relate to a lot of to the things today as it relates to technology. But the cultural thought process and the divide there is very critical. And I think it's profoundly important. I think it carries forward, it carries backwards, and it carries to the present moment some of the things. But point being, when we're in search of something, we're in search of being excellent at what we do, then we could take advantage of that. And I believe more than anything that when you are ready for something because of an experience that you just had, maybe you want to get better, as an example, with a particular skill. Maybe you're in sales and you're generating leads for the day and nothing occurred for you. And you kind of evaluated, what was going on here? What could I do differently, say, tomorrow? And our mind is in a constant search, like a guided missile, and it's looking for that information to help us solve a particular problem that we have, which is to improve our particular skill in that particular arena. And as a result, we start to see things. The reticular activating system that's in the back of our brain starts to seek. And where can I find a solution to a particular problem? As a result, things will come up. A book on your shelf, a YouTube video, this type of recording, an audio, a podcast, whatever it is. And you should then at that point attack it. So what I want to share with you is don't opt out of people's information, most especially if it's good for your particular needs and desires in your business, and that is to improve. Then take the action with it. If it's unimportant to you at that moment, then you can simply move on from it. Don't delete it or opt out of it. Now, I'm not saying that for myself, but again, that's your choice. So just make a choice and a decision based on your need at that given moment. The next thing I need you to think about is that you have the right to choose. You can choose what's going to be good for you in that moment. And you might have, let's say, 3 or 4 different ideas from 3 or 4 different people. And you might connect with some of them and not connect with others. Then you can make a decision there at that time, and you can make a choice which one you're going to use. So you might get an opinion from me, an idea of what I've done in my career and what I do for my clients and whatnot. And at the end of the day, you can make that choice as to, is this going to be helpful for me? Could be somebody else. Frankly, I don't care. You know what? We are in the business of passing on from information. I'm a conduit, if you will, of that information. And as a result, I want to give you the right to choose what it is that you want, so long as it helps you out. Now, here is the next thing, is how you listen to this information is very important. I've often said that when you hear this information, there's a couple of things that you must do. The first and foremost, I'll talk about the technique, if you will, technology behind the best way to listen to this information so you can get through it efficiently and effectively. But I want to talk about one thing first here, and that is when you get this information, okay, it's not enough. And you've heard this before. If you're in any kind of personal growth and you've listened to material such as this before, I am confident at a highest level that you probably heard this before, that it's not enough to know the information. You must go out there and use the information. You got to have the experience. Now, let me explain why that's important. And some people explain it. I just have my personal opinion about this, and I think this is probably a good one, at least that's my opinion at the end of the day. But here's the bottom line. When you learn something and then you go out and experience it, right, your level of learning goes up radically. I mean, your internalization, your memorization changes because you're now having the experience of what you're doing. Now, you want to take it to another level, even higher than that, then come back and re-listen to what you learned originally. So you learned something, okay, good idea. I'm going to take a shot at it. Give it time, work at it. Don't just try it once. Oh, this is not going to work because I told you so. That's bullshit. You don't want to do that. You want to try it enough. And frankly, a good coach can help you through that process to make sure that you're just not giving up on it, because it may not make sense for what you're trying to accomplish. However, somebody can give you a third eye, good, reasonable feedback on that. You know what? That's right. That doesn't make sense to what your goal is here. Let's try something different. Makes sense. Okay. It's just a logical response. It's not about ego, me telling you, oh, this is the better way to do it because you learned that from somebody else. I'm not in that game. There's other coaches and trainers out there that may talk like that, but it's not me. I'm in the idea of what can I do to help my clients, whether it's my idea or somebody else's idea that I've conjured up or used, because frankly, I didn't make up all of these things that I could talk about. Some of them I did, and I just have a way of presenting it in my way, and you're taking an idea. Nobody has an original idea. There's very few people with original ideas, at least today. Now, there's a lot of great original ideas because something has never been done before. Somebody tried it, and they got a result from it. And so now they're teaching it, which is perfectly fine. I mean, at the end of the day, something had to begin somewhere, right? Okay. But today, because of the amount of information, the amount of content creators out there, then we're out there just really being the conduits and synthesizers of information. Okay. So where I'm going with this is you learn it. You go experience it, try it. You got to take the shot. Succeed or fail, it does not matter. Certainly, it's nice to succeed and get, oh my God, this thing really works. And you know what? More than likely, it will work if you give it the true shot and you are patient and you hone it and you fine tune it to your particular way of presenting and so on. But you got to give it the shot, guys. You can't just expect that something's going to work straight away. It might, and if it does, great. If it doesn't mean you're a failure. It's just a way to learn better, okay? So you got to give it the shot. So you learn it, you experience it, and then you come back and re-listen to the information that gave you that idea originally. Now, at this point, you're going to hear it in a different way because now you have the experience that you had with it, and it's going to help you to really, really internalize and truly memorize what you had. So now you can go out there and try it again, and you're going to watch the results go up even further. You're going to get a greater outcome because of that. So that's one part of this thought process. Listen and learn. The next part of it, as I wrote here, is when you're listening to this information, you've heard me talk about this, and I even put it in some of my recordings. You'll see it sometimes in the bottom somewhere, but there's a place on these videos and audios, very typical anyway, and sometimes it's not perfect. You can't always get it, but there's a way to speed these videos and these recordings up so you can listen to them at a very fast pace. Now, what's the purpose behind this? Two things: efficiency, and two, effectiveness. So efficiency is it enables you to listen to these recordings over and over again at twice the speed. Okay. So you don't have to, oh God, I got to listen to Mike talking for 20 minutes. No, you can listen to me in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Okay. And get me out of your life for a couple of minutes. In the meantime, you can listen to it very quickly. Number two, the effectiveness. What does that mean? Well, when you listen to something fast, a fast talker, they did commercials years ago with FedEx, and I'm not going to even try to go down the road of what this guy did, but he was really talking fast about the FedEx and the delivery and all that stuff. And at the end result, the purpose behind that was causing the audience, the listener, and the viewer of that particular commercial to really listen intently to what that person was saying. Imperfect. But they did that commercial so many times over and over again that pretty soon you started to hear it, and it was pretty much you heard the whole thing. And you could probably recite it verbatim over time if you listened to it enough times, right? So at the end of the day, our brain gets into this place, like I said a minute ago about this target, this focus, this heat-seeking missile, our mind, right? When we're listening to this content faster, we unconsciously, and if we think about it, as I'm telling you now, consciously will listen carefully to the information. It just it's a forced effort that you really don't have to put into it. There's no conscious effort here that needs to go into it. You're just automatically listening for words. Now, you're not going to miss anything because a lot of people say, well, if I listen to these things very fast, Mike, will I miss something? Absolutely not, because our brain works in spaced repetition. I mean, you can listen to a tape, even read a book, and you can watch a video, and you can come back to it again and again, and you're going to get some new information. The new information is based on what you might miss before, because we are this mission of heat-seeking missiles, if you will, in our mind, okay? Albeit, let me get my little trusty gadget here. If we're listening to something, and let's say we're driving, we're going to be distracted. Would you agree, right? Stop signs, it's time to go, slow down, watch for pedestrians, change lanes, give somebody the finger. I don't know. We're going to do some kind of form of distraction. And in that second, I mean, almost literally a second, as a speaker is giving you information, you might be listening to this while you're driving right now. And if you shift your mind, you change your hand, you put on the blinker, you check your phone, whatever the case is, you're going to miss something that I said. Okay. Maybe just one word, just enough to change the trajectory and the zip code in your business. Right. And so the goal here is to listen to it over and over again, so that way you can get this information again for yourself. So it's helpful, and it's important that you, number one, you listen to this for effectiveness over and over again at the high speed, and efficiency at the high speed, so you can listen to the information over and over again. You know how the mind is working. You know, we get distracted, and the goal here is to get you into focus and get you into getting to where you want to be. Now, What are we going to be covering? Okay, I'm going to be sharing ideas in this area. My part of my goal here is to get interviews with other professionals. Now, I don't often do that, meaning that there's a lot of content creators who bring in other people and experts in their field, and that's a big thing for me. I learn from experts. I mean, at the end of the day, I just never really did it at the highest level, and part of my intent is to make that happen. When and how? Well, you'll be notified of that. I'm not going to make any commitment now, because I'm going to make the commitment that I will do it, but just when is going to come along, because I'm just making my list of people that I really want to engage so I can give you. The next thing I'm going to be sharing with you are ideas for salespeople, whether you're in the area of sales, you're in the area of leadership, running a company. You could be a coach, you could be a mentor right now, or you want to be a coach and a mentor sometime because you have a tremendous amount of experience and you finally decide, you know what, I want to teach people this stuff and I want to make some more money. I want to do this as my side hustle, if you will. So this will help you to be better at that. It's going to be, again, some inspiration. I'm going to be sharing some motivational things. I'm a big believer in inspiration. Not so much, I say the word motivation because really it's up to you personally to motivate yourself. But I think with the results as you go through this information, whether it's a high-level skill of sales or something that's inspirational for you, you'll be more motivated as a result of that. So that's my bigger piece there. And what can you expect? Relevancy. Okay. There's two thoughts here that I like to share with people, and we'll wind this down for the day. Okay. When I say relevancy, there's things that are relevant to today's current environment, i.e., pivoting and getting creative and ways to do business differently than maybe we did even a couple of months ago or a couple of years ago, whatever the case is. So relevant information is very important. While at the same time, relevant information could be historical information, meaning like the sales process. The fundamentals of sales, in my opinion, will never change. The basics of that process. You got to know what you want, have a desire. You've got to make the decision. You got to make the commitment to get into action. Okay, so I got that foundation set up. I know what I want to do. I have a particular goal in mind, economically and time-wise. Okay, got that in place. In sales, the fundamentals require that you get good at your craft. So what do? You practice. Okay. The other part of the process is to find people to do business with, help them achieve, solve a problem, etc. Whatever the situation. So you got to prospect, you got to generate leads, you got to qualify those people to make sure that they can buy your services. At the end of the day, they can do something with you. And you got to make a decision. Do I want to do business with that person? So there's that qualification process. You're not going to always get the person to say yes to you on the very first call. So you have to do, which is next, following up with people. So you have to have that in your process of the sales function. Then once you've decided that, okay, and they've decided, okay, then we get together and we call it now what? A presentation. So we got to prepare for the presentation. We got to go do it. We got to handle objections, closes, etc. That's in the process. Okay. So those are the fundamentals. Those, ladies and gentlemen, will never, ever go away. How we generate leads might change a bit. So some people who are used to using the phone might go and use social media to generate leads. But the fact is, ultimately, we got to communicate with people, and the sales process itself does not change. So when I say relevant, it's relevant to today's delivery of the way information is being processed, the content, the ideas, as important as it might be to some changes in the marketplace. But I personally will always remain relevant in both areas, the current and the past. Okay. Somebody can never tell me, well, that's, from the old days, that's how you used to do that with the phone. Well, horse malarkey. Okay. At the end of the day, guys, even though I don't have a handset that I'm picking up and talking on the phone, I'm using my phone here with the technology, but I'm still communicating to my clients. You see, I can't let technology communicate the way I can communicate. It can drive people to me in my marketing. Okay. Yeah, I can get more people at a broader level than just if I did one dial at a time. But at the end of the day, I still have to speak with people. Okay. It's not enough just to hope that technology is going to save my life because, well, I don't want to speak to people. You got to talk to people. So point being is we're going to create ideas that are relevant to what's going on in the world today, while at the same time remaining fundamental. It's being brilliant as being brilliant on the basics, as Vince Lombardi, one of the greatest football coaches of all time, always said. We're going to be brilliant at the basics. We're going to get good at kicking. We're going to get good at running. We're going to get good at passing. We're going to get good at blocking. And our goal here is to carry this ball that we have in our hand, guys, 10 yards every time we have it in our hand. And if we do that fundamental, that basic process there, we will get more scores and win more championships than anybody else. And you know what? He proved it. He proved it. I didn't make that up. Vince did. All right. So that's it, guys, for now. Okay. The 15-minute huddle, Winners News Network. We're here to help you, again, to maximize your potential and create wealth for yourself. Sharing ideas with you to really push yourself to the next level. Now, if you don't want to do that, maybe this is not for you. And hey, that's okay. If it's not for you, but you feel somebody else could use it, please do me a favor. And I'll always tell you this is pay this information forward. Please get it out there. So this was a few minutes longer than I probably would want to have had it happen, but that's not me. Sometimes I just, get it out there and I can talk for hours on it and give me a napkin, write a concept on it, and I could do a 7-day speech on it. Almost literally, I say that tongue in cheek, but it can be done because of maybe my background and my experience, but it's mainly my desire for you to be the very best and to have the very best and to do the very best at what you do every single day. So I'm extremely passionate about that. I'm extremely knowing because I'm a guy who, if at anything in time in life could say you didn't, you couldn't, you're not going to, well, I'm that guy. Maybe you're that person. Maybe you're that person, that guy, that gal, whatever the case might be, that you said that to yourself and you said, well, I'm never going to be, but all of a sudden it turned around for you. Okay. But just know this, if I can do this, you can do this. Everybody who has any kind of great success in life has had this experience. And you got to believe that it's possible. You got to believe. And winners think differently than everybody else. And they think there's possibility. They think there's new ways to do things, just enhancements. You don't have to change the whole plan. You might have to. In some cases, I tell clients from time to time, listen, we got to throw that other one out and get a new one going on here because what we were doing before is not working. And that's quite okay. There's many successful people that have business plans and they did things, just didn't work out and they had to change maybe industries in some cases, which is all good. Doesn't matter. What matters is our awareness of what's going on. Again, I can continue here, guys, on and on as I wrap this up and continue talking, but I'm not going to do that because I need to wrap this up for you to go out there and have success in your life and in your business. So please do me a favor. Let's make sure we pay this forward. Okay. Re-listen to this, raise the speed up, listen to it intently, get it out there. If you have any questions, maybe you have a specific need, desire, want, something that I could cover, maybe an interview I could do, a suggestion to make this even better for you, sound quality, video quality, whatever it takes. Okay. We're on this team together. And I will never say I'm the only person in the world and this is the way it is. And my ego is going to tell you, don't do anything else with anybody else. I will never do that because I believe everybody's got some value. May not be perfect to the moment or the person. And I may even disagree with some of these guys, which I do oftentimes, not with everything they do, but at the end of the day, that's our opinion. And that's the way we should feel. There's certain things that people say that I say, why are they even talking about that? Why would somebody tell somebody that we're not in the relationship business, just go make the sale? That's one thing I've heard before and is not acceptable to me in the sales process. So point being is, let's take this information, let's use it, let's pay it forward. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, anything that could help us, please like this. If you enjoy it, if there's something that I could do differently, please let me know. I'm always looking to improve my skill levels as well and the way I deliver this information. So we're going to wind this down now. I thank you for your time. And pretty soon we'll have some sponsors on here and make that happen. And if you want to sponsor this show, the Winners News Network, we're here to do that. If you want to be interviewed here, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to put you on. We'll have a conversation if it makes sense. Hey, we'll see what we can do there, and hopefully that will make it happen. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for stopping by the Winners News Network, here to give you great information that is relevant, educational, inspirational, and motivational to help you to maximize your potential in your life and in your business. So thanks for your time. Go make it a great day. We will talk to you later.